When people talk about the world's most elite military units, most people immediately think of SEAL Team 6, Delta Force, or the SAS. But inside the walls of DEVGRU, there's a squadron whose reputation even other Tier 1 operators quietly recognize with a different kind of respect. A reputation carved through brutal training, impossible missions, and losses that would have broken most units. This is Gold Squadron, the Crusaders. A force designed not just to win battles, but to finish missions other units won't even attempt. To the outside world, Gold Squadron is a rumor buried under classified pages. But within special operations circles, their name carries a unique gravity. They are known for their aggressive tempo, their precision, and their ability to own the moment when the fight begins. Where other teams advance carefully, Gold pushes forward with controlled violence. Where others pause, they press. And where hesitation destroys momentum, they dominate the second they are given. That mindset didn't come from a single operation. It came from decades of missions, where Gold operators continually found themselves at the inflection point of special operations history. The nickname Crusaders wasn't chosen lightly. Inside SEAL Team 6, every squadron develops its own identity, and Gold carved theirs through unrelenting expectations. If you're in Gold Squadron, you finish the job, period. That's the culture they built. A culture that made them the go-to choice when layered defenses, tight timelines, and collapsing margins of error defined a mission. Gold Squadron stands apart even among DEVGRU's elite. Their internal style of close quarters battle is faster, sharper, and more forceful than the already fast DEVGRU standard. They maintain old school traditions, private rituals, symbolic mission names, and shared memories that bind them tighter than any official handbook ever could. These aren't for show. They are the glue that supports people who carry the kind of trauma, responsibility, and experience that most of the world will never see. But no story of Gold Squadron is complete without confronting one of the darkest days in modern U.S. military history. August 6, 2011. Extortion 17, a U.S. CH-47. Chinook helicopter was shot down in Afghanistan, killing 38 people. Among them were 17 SEALs, 15 from Gold Squadron, and 2 support personnel. It was the single deadliest day in SEAL history. For the public, it was a tragic headline, but for Gold, it was a wound that will never fully close. That loss became part of their DNA. It changed the way the squadron carried itself, how they trained, and how they remembered. It became a living presence inside their culture, something shared in quiet rooms, at memorial tables, and during the small traditions that keep the memories of fallen teammates alive. Despite this unimaginable blow, Gold Squadron didn't break. They tightened their focus. They doubled down on their standards. They carried the loss into every mission, not as a burden, but as a reminder of why their work matters. That is the part most outsiders never see, the way a unit rebuilds itself after losing so many of its own, the way grief and duty coexist, the way memory and mission become the same weight on a warrior's shoulders. Getting into Gold Squadron is brutal. You don't simply join. You survive long enough to be selected. Even among SEALs, the path into DEVGRU is punishing. And even inside DEVGRU, making it into Gold means enduring a pipeline that breaks more than 90% of candidates. Their training focuses on lightning-fast decision-making, the kind where a single second can decide life or death. Precision shooting, split-second communication, urban warfare across multi-level structures, high-altitude insertions, and global mobility, all of it becomes second nature. In Gold Squadron, tactical excellence isn't impressive, it's expected. Gold rarely works alone. They operate alongside NSA signal analysts, CIA case officers, Delta Force operators, drone platforms, and the Night Stalkers of the 160th SOAR. By the time Gold enters a target building, the intelligence world has already pushed every resource toward that one moment. They are the last link in the chain, the point where planning ends and the unknown begins. Inside the unit are stories the public will never hear. but some names surface. One example is Michael Ernst, whose SEAL journey reportedly began with a simple bet, a friendly challenge that spiraled into a career defined by discipline, courage, and relentless progress. His story reflects something people often miss about Tier 1 operators. They aren't born superhuman. They start as ordinary people who make extraordinary choices repeatedly until excellence becomes who they are. Most of Gold's missions will never be discussed publicly. The few that do reach the public eye often omit the details that matter most. Capture-kill missions across the middle, east, high-risk reconnaissance, behind enemy lines, hostage rescues in unstable nations, direct action raids that shape the course of conflicts. Every operation blends violence, precision, and control in an environment where seconds matter and mistakes echo for decades. Yet Gold Squadron is defined by more than aggression. Their internal culture emphasizes loyalty, emotional honesty, and openness in a field where silence is often expected. They learned, through loss, through pressure, through the cost of war, that speaking up saves careers, relationships, and sometimes lives. The world sees them as unbreakable warriors. Inside the unit, they know the truth. Strength and vulnerability are often the same thing. But one question always hangs over units like Gold. How long can you push at this level without breaking the people behind the gear? The ops tempo is relentless. The deployments are constant. The enemies evolve. Technology accelerates. And the missions grow more complex every year. Yet despite the cost, the men of Gold Squadron continue stepping into the breach, not for fame, not for recognition, but for the man next to them. In Gold, the Brotherhood is the engine. Their legacy isn't loud. They don't seek documentaries, interviews, or movie deals. Their work is written in quiet rooms, in classified mission logs, in old photographs taped inside lockers, in memorial plaques that only a handful of people will ever see. Their story isn't a series of explosions and one-liners. It's a testament to what happens when elite talent meets elite purpose and refuses to look away from the hardest missions on Earth. The Crusaders earned their name for a reason. When the ramp drops and the street ahead demands momentum, Gold Squadron leans forward. Their mission names echo ancient battles. Their rituals anchor them. Their losses guide them. Their training sharpens them. And their performance cements them as one of the deadliest, most capable units on the planet. When they succeed, the headlines are vague. When they fail, rarely. The consequences echo everywhere. But inside the squadron, the balance remains the same. Hard when it needs to be. Quiet when it should be. Precise always. In the end, Gold Squadron isn't defined by mythology. They're defined by results, by sacrifice, and by an unbreakable commitment to their brothers. What do you think? Is Gold Squadron the most elite unit inside DEVGRU? Let us know down in the comments. And before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the world's most secretive special operations units.